White belt. If you're just starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everyone begins at white belt. No skipping ahead, no shortcuts. White belt is where you learn the basics that everything else is built on. In your first few weeks, you'll learn some important things that you'll learn about positions. Some are good, like being on top of someone, and some are bad, like being pinned underneath. You'll learn escapes, which means getting out of bad positions safely. Teachers usually teach this first, because staying safe matters most. You'll also learn simple submissions, like chokes and arm bars. These moves teach you how leverage works, and you'll see them a lot. You'll practice breakfalls too, so you know how to fall without getting hurt. And you'll learn guard passes and sweeps, ways to move past someone's legs or flip your position from the bottom to the top that you're going to tap out a lot. Tapping just means saying stop before you get hurt. At white belt, this happens all the time, and that's totally normal. Most people stay at white belt for 1 to 2 years, sometimes longer. Here are a few tips. Focus on defense first. Save your questions for after class, not during practice. And expect to feel confused for the first few months. Everyone does. The biggest mistake new students make is using muscle instead of technique. Jiu-Jitsu is about patience and smart moves, not strength. That lesson takes time to learn. Blue belt. After white belt, the next step is blue belt. This is a big moment, because it means your teacher thinks you understand the basics well. Blue belt usually takes the longest of all the belts. Many people stay at blue belt for 2 to 3 years, sometimes even longer. That might sound like a lot, but there's a good reason for it. Blue belt is where you learn how to actually use everything you picked up as a white belt. At this stage, you start building your game. That means you begin picking favorite moves and positions that work well for your body and your style. Some people like to attack from the top. Others prefer to fight from the bottom. This is where your own style starts to show. You'll also learn more advanced positions, like the half guard or the butterfly guard. And you'll start chaining moves together instead of just doing one at a time. For example, if a submission doesn't work, you'll learn how to smoothly switch to a different attack. Rolling, which means practice sparring, gets more intense too. You'll face tougher opponents, and you'll need to think faster and react quicker. A common challenge at blue belt is something people call the blue belt blues. This is when training feels harder, not easier. You know more, but so does everyone else, so progress can feel slow. This is completely normal, and almost every blue belt goes through it. The best advice for blue belt is to stay patient and keep experimenting. Try new moves, even if they don't work at first. This is the belt where you figure out who you are as a grappler. Purple belt. After blue belt, you reach purple belt. This is often called the halfway point to black belt, and it's where things start to feel different. Purple belt usually takes about 1.5 to 2 years. By now, you're not just learning moves anymore. You're starting to understand the deeper ideas behind Jiu-Jitsu, like timing, energy, and why certain moves work. One big change at purple belt is that you start teaching. Many schools ask purple belts to help teach white belts. This is actually great for your own growth, because explaining a move to someone else forces you to understand it even better yourself. Your game gets tighter at this stage. Instead of trying lots of different moves, you start focusing on a smaller set of techniques that really work for you. You connect them together smoothly, almost like a game plan you can trust in any situation. You'll also start relying less on strength and speed. Purple belts are known for making Jiu-Jitsu look calm and efficient. Instead of rushing, you learn to wait for the right moment and let your opponent make mistakes. Some people call purple belt the danger zone, because this is where some students lose motivation. The excitement of being new has worn off, and black belt still feels far away. Staying consistent and setting small goals really helps here. By the end of purple belt, you should feel like Jiu-Jitsu is becoming part of how you think, not just something you do on the mats. Brown belt. After purple belt, you reach brown belt. This is the second to last belt before black, and it's often seen as a quiet but powerful stage in training. Brown belt usually takes about 1 to 1.5 years, making it shorter than the belts before it. By this point, you're not learning many brand new moves. Instead, you're refining everything you already know, making each move sharper and more precise. At brown belt, your defense becomes excellent. You're very hard to submit, and you rarely panic in bad positions. You've felt almost every uncomfortable spot so many times that staying calm just becomes automatic. This is also the stage where your teaching skills grow a lot. Brown belts often help run classes, and are seen as leaders on the mat. Lower belts look up to you, and many schools trust brown belts to represent the academy's style. Something interesting happens with speed and effort at brown belt. You start doing less, but it works better. Instead of using a lot of energy, you learn to make small, smart adjustments that create big results. People often say brown belts make jiu-jitsu look easy, even though it isn't. The mental side of training matters a lot here too. Brown belt is often a quiet, patient stage. There's less excitement about new techniques and more focus on discipline, consistency, and mastering the basics at a deeper level. By the end of brown belt, your instructor is watching closely because the next step is the biggest one of all. Black belt. After brown belt, you finally reach black belt. This is often seen as the ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu, but most black belts will tell you something surprising. It's actually just the beginning. Getting to black belt usually takes 8 to 12 years of consistent training. That's a big commitment, and it's part of why the belt is so respected. It shows real dedication, not just skill. Here's the surprising part. Black belt doesn't mean you know everything. In fact, many black belts say this is when real learning starts. You finally understand the basics so well that you can explore deeper details, small adjustments, and creative ideas that beginners aren't ready for yet. At this stage, your jiu-jitsu becomes very personal. Two black belts might grapple in completely different ways, because each person has built a style based on their body, their strengths, and years of experimentation. There's no single right way anymore. There's your way. Black belts are also expected to be strong teachers and leaders. Many open their own schools, mentor lower belts, and help shape the next generation of students. Passing on knowledge becomes just as important as personal skill. Even after reaching black belt, training continues. There are actually degrees within black belt, marked by stripes, that can take decades to earn. Some practitioners train for 30, 40, even 50 years. Coral and red belt. Beyond black belt, there are two very rare ranks, coral belt and red belt. These aren't earned through regular promotions. They're given as a lifetime achievement, honoring decades of dedication to the sport. Coral belt is a mix of red and black, or sometimes red and white. It's awarded after many years as a black belt, usually around 7th or 8th degree. This typically means someone has trained and taught jiu-jitsu for 30 to 40 years. Coral belts are almost always older instructors who have shaped the sport through decades of teaching, not just competing. Red belt is the highest rank of all. It's given at the 9th and 10th degree, usually to practitioners who have spent 50 or more years in the art. Red belts are extremely rare. Most of them are founders of major jiu-jitsu lineages or legendary figures who helped build the sport into what it is today. Unlike lower belts, coral and red belts aren't really about skill on the mat anymore. They represent something bigger, a lifetime of teaching, growing the sport, and passing down knowledge to generation after generation of students. Very few people ever reach this level. It's less like leveling up in a video game, and more like receiving a lifetime honor for shaping an entire martial art. So that's the path. White to blue, purple to brown, black, and for the rare few, coral and red. But here's the thing nobody tells you at the start. The belt was never really the point. Every stripe, every promotion, it's just proof that you showed up. Tapped out. Got back on the mats. Did it again tomorrow. White belts learn to survive. Black belts learn there's no finish line. And whether you train for 2 years or 50, the belt around your waist matters less than the person you become getting there. So wherever you are on this journey, white belt just starting, or purple belt questioning everything, stay on the mats. Trust the process. That's jiu-jitsu. That's the belt system. If this helped you understand the journey ahead, hit subscribe.